and welcome to IPO träffar. Today we are in Malmö. We are outside of Adon News offices and we're going to meet with Evendo, a Danish company. Evendo and Adon News are doing a reverse acquisition and we're here to meet with the co-founder and CEO of Evendo, Kasper Larsen. Come on up. Kasper.
Hi.
Thanks for having me. Could you tell me a little bit more about yourself?
Of course. My name is Kasper Larsen. I'm 47 years old. I am the founder of Evendo. I'm the major shareholder and the group CEO. And I am what you would probably refer to as a serial entrepreneur, having spent the last couple of decades founding and co-founding different companies. For instance, Sitecore, which I co-founded in 2001, and we brought it to global positioning, and it was recently sold to the capital fund EQT in excess of €1 billion and thus became a unicorn.
In 2014, you co-founded Evendo. What was the background to this?
Over the last decades, you have seen a lot of industries being automated or made more efficient by the use of technology. For instance, the hotel industry, the travel industry, and etc. And event market is actually one of the industries where we haven't still seen the same level of automation. And considering that on a global scale, a little more than 100 million smaller companies' events are being arranged every year, of course it's an interesting market for us to look into. In terms of money, of course we consider money as well. The event market globally is €800 billion. So of course the financial part is a good part of the consideration as well.
So what exactly is it that Evendo does? Can you tell me a little bit more about this?
Of course. Basically we are looking to provide transparency and efficiency within the event market. And it basically means supporting the customer all the way during planning and execution of events. Basically, we build a booking portal and Evendo aggregates products, activities, services from a number of different suppliers. We make them uniform, we make it transparent so the customer can easily identify and select the right product for their event. More or less like you know it from various other booking portals within hotel and travel industry. What we have learned since then is that events they are far more complex than many other industries. For instance, our products are more complex, the supplier market is more fragmented than you see in many other industries. So on top of the booking portal, we have recently launched a planning tool that allows the customer to structure their event. Basically, like you would know it with Lego blocks, you basically build your day and then you populate these different time slots with products and activities from our inventory. That not only provides you a nice guidance through the planning itself, it also provides full budget overview. We make sure you don't miss anything like transportation time, how long does it take to go from A to B, and basically make sure that your event is being successful. And we are currently working on other initiatives that will also support the customer during the event itself, because they can be rather stressful. Being out with 20 colleagues, trying to find the next supplier, the next place to go, or just leaving a location in time to make it to the next spot on time, it can be a tough job. So we are looking into how we can support the customers in that journey as well. And naturally we are also providing a lot of information, a lot of tools for our suppliers that help them optimize and professionalize their business. Many of our suppliers, or suppliers in general in the event market, are typically small companies. They are very niche oriented in their offering and they don't have very much focus on how to optimize their business. We would like to help them do that as well.
Adon News and Evendo are doing a reverse takeover. Could you tell me a little bit more about this?
I can try. I think there are two sides to that story and I'll try to explain both of them. For Adon News, the management has concluded that the activities of the company is much better suited in a private setup than in a public company. And I understand that there has been considerations actually delisting the share. And naturally that will have some implications for all parties involved, including the shareholders. So I think from their perspective, a reverse merger is a much better alternative than a simple delisting. And for Evendo, we have already and always had global ambitions. For us, it has been a natural part going public throughout our whole plan. So instead of doing an IPO, we have had this opportunity to do the reverse takeover. And what I personally like is that this allows us to give the existing shareholders in Add-on News a very unique position where they will be shareholders not only in Add-on News but also in Evendo, because the current activities of Add-on News will be spun out in a separate company, and that basically means that they will have a double ownership. So it's a win-win for all parties involved.
What are the main differences between Evendo and other event companies according to you?
I think there's a very simple answer to that, and that is we're the only one who supports the full journey from A to Z. If you look at the market and break it down a little bit, you will notice there are different approaches to the event market. You will find companies offering advertising space for suppliers, basically allowing suppliers to have a store window towards the customers. The customers can find inspiration and read about the different offerings from the suppliers, but they are still left to manual booking processes. They still need to call the supplier or send them an email. Then you will find other companies offering planning tools, which allow you to structure your event. They are typically targeted towards bigger events with multiple, several hundred participants, for instance. They don't have the inventory, so you are left to contacting the suppliers manually as well. And then, of course, you have the event planners, the traditional event planner, who you can still call and ask to take care of everything related to your event. Unfortunately, event planners, they typically also have a cost associated with them. And for the majority of the smaller events, and particularly the events we are targeting, which are, let's say, smaller company events with 20 to 50 participants, you simply don't have a budget to hire an external assistant to plan your event. And that's where we come in. So basically, we are trying to automate the event planner and target that market.
So what does the competition on the market look like?
Well, I think we have touched it a little bit, but I think without being too bold, we can say that there is no direct competition to Evendo. The ambition we have of automating the booking, automating planning, offering the full inventory and basically supporting the customer from A to Z, we still have to see from any other vendor out there. We have looked, it's not to say there's no competition, there is, but typically the competition addresses parts of the journey and not the full journey that we are trying to support.
What's your vision?
Put short, we are looking to provide transparency and efficiency in the event market. And it basically embodies everything we do. We constantly consider how we can help the customers make even better events, how we can make it even more efficient for them, how we can make it safer for them to plan their events and execute them as well. And we also constantly consider how can we make this even better for the suppliers, because if we can succeed in helping both customers and suppliers, we will be in a very unique place. So basically, we are looking to provide efficiency in the event market.
Do you have any expansion plans outside of the Nordic countries?
Evendo has from the very beginning been thought as a global project. The platform, the concept is ultra scalable, and we are very much aware that we have global potential. We have been operating in Denmark, in Copenhagen primarily since August 2016 as a test market. We have seen very nice monthly growth rates. We have seen a consistent positive return on ad spend, which basically means that every time we spend some money to get a customer, the customer spends more with us the moment they enter the site. So we are at a position right now where we are definitely looking into expanding beyond our home market. We recently opened up an office in London. We are populating it with the right employees at the moment to facilitate a launch in London later in 2018. And in addition to that, we have a roadmap with selected urban areas throughout Western Europe and United States that we are looking to entering in foreseeable future, I would say. That being said, it's also very important for us that it's done in a balanced way. So we will move with caution. We will constantly evaluate our progress, our results. And based on that, we will consider to what extent and with what velocity we will enter into new markets. But we definitely have global ambitions.
So how come you choose to do a reverse takeover instead of doing a classic IPO for Evendo?
Basically, if you do an IPO, the end result is, like the name implies, a public offering of shares. And Evendo doesn't have an immediate cash requirement. So for us, an IPO was not really relevant. A reverse merger, a reverse takeover allows us to be in a position where we are actually a public company, and where we, when we realize that now it's time for us to expand even further into our global rollout plan, we don't need to go through the time-consuming process of doing an IPO. We are already listed. We can act like a public company already from day one. And in addition to that, the reverse merger process has allowed us to be in more control than we would have been with an IPO, where there are a lot of unknown factors that are left to other people. A reverse merger, we have basically been in control from the beginning to the end. And for us, being in control is very important, because at the end of the day, it's all a matter of protecting the company and the interest of our shareholders.
Can you give me 3 reasons why I should invest in Evendo?
I think Evendo should be considered by any investor considering a ultra-scalable company. We are first movers in a market exceeding 800 billion euro worldwide, more than 100 million events being arranged every year. And in many ways it's comparable to the hotel and travel market. However, at this point in time, we are the first ones doing what we're doing. So I think we are in a very nice position to be a major player in this industry. If I have to narrow it down to just 3 different reasons, I would say that number 1, we have proof of concept. We have been operating since August 2016. We had more than 50,000 event experiences booked through the platform in an automated way during the first year. It's easy to say now that this means we are scalable, because the platform itself doesn't really care if it's operating in one or multiple markets. Secondly, we have started our internationalization. So we have passed let's say, the major hurdles of making things work in our home market. And third, we are also scalable, and as a team, we have done this journey before. We have taken several companies international, so we have an idea on how to do it. But of course, there are so many other reasons, but these are just 3 of them.
So where do I turn if I want to find out more about Evendo?
We have recently launched a website called about.evendo.com, where we present the company, the market, what we do, what we're looking to do. As a part of the listing process with Aktietorget or Spotlight, a full memorandum will be made public within foreseeable future. And it will be available, of course, on our website. It will be available on Spotlight. And if you want to request it, just send an email to investor@evendo.com and we will be happy to send it to you.